favor of this energy innovation, which is essentially just establishing a carbon fee for fossil fuels in the country. And so it was requested that this be brought to you all to review. So, you know, this can be similar to the resolution that we passed last year, but we can also choose to change it. We can choose to not pass it or not support it. But our council members are curious to hear the view on this resolution from the perspective of this committee. So I just wanted to put that on your radar, just in case. I included that template also for you all to review on your own time. I will say that I don't believe that a lot of cities have passed that template as it's written, but I think it was the basis of some of them. Some of them reference not the specific legislation, but they support the idea, which is what Greensboro did. So there have been a variety of approaches. I'll also note that there was originally a point in the resolution that was passed by this committee last year that included this. But it was taken out. I believe a council member, that was one of the points that they disagreed with initially when it was brought to council the first time. And so it was removed before it was approved. So that's just a little bit of background there. And I wanted to just bring that up now because I don't know, you know, how many discussions this will be worth to you guys. But I figure that if some of you guys have a heads up, great. But yeah, just for a little bit of explanation about what that is. But yeah, other than that, I think Amber and Kira, you all heard me say only 2 more folks had said they would come anyways, and unfortunately those folks aren't here yet. So I'll let you guys ask any questions at least. I don't want to waste your time though this evening. So yeah, I'll open it up to you guys.
I have a question. It was much, you know, for me, just kind of being a layperson, it was much, but why was it rejected? Do you know why that it was thrown out or rejected? What was the points, or was it overall, or any idea?
Yeah, to put it delicately, I think it related to the fact that last year was an election year.
Okay.
Which can influence, you know, I think the public's perception maybe a little bit more.
Kind of what I'm trying to get at is like, were there obvious changes that needed to be made that they would accept, or was it something other like that?
Honestly, the specifics were not really given, at least not to myself. I'm sure that there were some, but again, I think it had more to do with, you know, maybe they didn't want to alienate certain voters or groups like that, I think is what it more related to rather than actual points.
Understood.
And that was the same question that I had. Why was it rejected?
Yeah, and you know, the person this time around more recently, he has reached out to several council, maybe every council member. I'm not really sure who all has heard from him directly, but at least a couple of council members have asked about this. So, you know, now that it's sort of been brought to their attention again, because I don't know how many of them caught this, honestly, the first time around either. So, you know, but we'll see. And again, it's really in your hands now to give, you know, your thoughts and your recommendations. So, yeah.
So I know you wouldn't know this right off the top of your head, but are there any companies within the industries that would be heavily impacted by that tax?
Yes.
that are linked to have enough influence to do anything about it.
Right. Yeah. So this would really, really impact a lot of the utility companies. For us, that's Duke Energy, of course. And so, you know, other companies like that may have large impacts on, like, that may be larger producers of fossil fuels will be the most impacted, which again is for us most relevantly Duke Energy, which I imagine those groups and those corporations are not in favor of this. I would just imagine based on the nature. Yeah.
I mean, they may be. They just send the difference, the tax to us, to the taxpayers. So yeah. But okay, it's all about.
Well, and you guys may be aware that I'm sure that Duke Energy is going to pull the same thing that they did about the bill that we fought to defeat, that had to do with them continuing to use fossil fuels. So and that was a very contentious bill. A lot of negotiation went into creating the less bad bill. So it wasn't necessarily a good bill, but it was less bad than when it came to the floor the first time. So I'm sure that they will put the full weight behind stopping anything that will occur at the state level in regards to any kind of tax on fossil fuels.
Yeah, they've been under a lot of scrutiny, right, this year with their, they have several planning processes that happen regularly, and that's fallen on this year. But there's also been some bills at the state legislature that have been heavily impacting Duke Energy too. So again, they've really been under a lot of scrutiny this year. So I think that coupled with what Amber has said is absolutely true. And then I'll also add to that, really this resolution is just us trying to convince our congressmen to vote a certain way, but we're only one of their like constituent municipalities, really. So there's that to take into consideration too. And they are not obliged to vote in favor or against, you know, even if we do pass this, and even if, you know, all these other places in North Carolina do pass. So, you know, there's no certainty attached to this either, which, you know, in that sense too, it is a little different than that resolution that was passed last year, because that one more directly applied to, you know, setting city goals and city targets for our operations and impacting more local things. And this one is not at all like that. So that's a pretty big difference too. But yeah, so I'm sure we will be discussing this again at our next meeting with more folks present. You know, I don't know if there will be any subcommittee meetings in between now and then, but this may be something that the most recent subcommittee discusses. I don't know, I forgot the name of it, but I know this sort of falls under that category of the emissions and the climate change stuff from that resolution. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll continue discussing and thinking about it. But yeah, if there are any other questions too about anything at all, feel free to ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll also say that Sarah has fully resigned. Only in the last meeting, I believe she had resigned from the chair position, but she has fully resigned now. So that means that there are 3 vacancies now on the committee, one of which is the chair. One is a university representative, a local university representative, and the other is a representative of the Northwest West Ward. So we're still working on trying to fill those roles, but yes, we will see what happens in the next few months with that too. So
Okay.
yeah, so if you guys know anybody who works for a local university, or, you know, it could be Forsyth Tech, it could be another one of the smaller schools, but more like secondary education, or if you know anyone in the Northwest Ward, just let them know that we have some vacancies for them. But yeah, so feel free to spread that around to your networks. But
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes if you do have any other questions. But other than that, like I said, I expected this one to be a shorter meeting, so I can give you guys back some time.
And you said Northwest Ward, University, and a chair.
Yes, and I'll note that there is more uncertainty around the chair because Sarah's term was set to end this May. So I don't know if a chair, if they were appointed in the next couple months, if it would only be to complete that term or what. So I'll just put that out there that I'm not sure, but again, the people who need to be aware are aware of the situation, so I can keep you guys updated. But I do think even if that did happen, that person would still be eligible for a reappointment and would be able to serve another full term too. So I think that's right.
I have some more questions.
Sure.
I don't have any more questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, I misheard you. Sorry about that. All right, well, I appreciate your short time this evening. Thank you all for jumping on and getting a short little briefing about that new resolution situation. But in the meantime, let me know if any questions come up related to that, or membership, or subcommittees, or anything like that. Yeah, so with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Good holidays. We'll be in touch. And I'll see you guys, I think, in the new year, if not in your subcommittee meetings. So.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Bye.